Tonight, we get you ready for bug season with the best in the business. We have a comedian in the house tonight. We'll talk about Independence Day and a really outstanding organization. Roll it, Kyle. Yes, it is hot as melted butter outside. What else is new? It's pretty bad. We're going to talk about what you can do if you happen to be outside, if you're crazy enough to be out during the middle of the day, how to keep the bugs off of you. But I want to begin tonight's show by congratulating the brand new national champion LSU baseball team. What a year, a great team, following what the Lady Tigers did. So Brian Kelly, you're up. We'll see what happens this fall. All right, speaking of outstanding, let's talk about an organization that you've heard me talk about here on the show before. Outstanding Mature Girls. Here with us tonight to talk about this is Jessica Kane and Jaden Kane, who's making her debut on the show to talk about OMG. So Jess, y'all have a very busy weekend.
We do.
Yeah?
Yes.
So let's start off. For people who don't know about OMG, what is this organization?
So Outstanding Mature Girls, for those who don't know, is a nonprofit organization who is making their 10-year debut. We just did our 10-year conference a couple of weeks ago. We make sure that the young girls in New Orleans and Baton Rouge can have a place where they have a safe space, not only safe space, but to also give back to the community. So we start at age 11 and we go up to age 18. And of course, some of those stay around longer to be mentors, and we love that, to make sure the younger girls have a person to look up to. And they also bring them up with leadership skills, organization tools, and making sure that they understand that giving back to the community is the center of what we do.
So tell me about some of the tenets. What does a young lady who comes into the program get?
So the young lady who comes into the program, they're able to receive mentoring every Tuesday, faithfully, no matter what. Even during COVID, we were meeting virtually. They meet at a space where they're able to not only talk about what's going on in their day-to-day life, but also being able to shine about what they think that they can do to change our community. In those ideas, they go into actual action plans and able to go out and on every Friday, I believe, every Friday, they're actually, let me take that back, one Friday out of the month. I don't want to say every Friday. One Friday out of the month, we do also a food pantry. So for those that are in need in the community, Outstanding Mature Girls is there to make sure that they receive food, also make sure they receive care packages as well. So those are the things that they're receiving that we're hoping that will stay and maintain with them with a strong foundation. So as they're growing up and doing different things, that they keep that foundation with them and go and change the world and do great things.
Look, I've known you since you were your daughter's age.
Tell my age. Wait a minute.
And well, it's more telling my age than yours. But I think that people need to understand that this is a solution-based organization because of what we see happening around the community. You guys are trying to catch some of these young ladies, specifically those in tough situations, and get them pointed in a direction towards their purpose before they end up one of these negative statistics we see all the time. And that's why I love what y'all are doing so much. We read the paper, we hear about the crime, the shootings, all the things going on, but you got to be involved on the solution side too. Can't just talk about the problem. And speaking of which, this young lady who just told me a second ago she's going to be going to LSU when she finishes high school is one of the OMG representatives there. Tell me what you're going to be doing this Sunday. You're recording something this Sunday for Something on the 4th.
Yes, I am going to be talking to Ben Crump, who you've seen a lot, covering many of the cases of police brutality and all those things. And I'm going to be the anchor this time. I used to be a co-host. I would ask the person questions, and now I'm going to be the anchor.
The anchor.
Yeah.
All right, you'll be driving the ship.
Yeah.
All right, tell me about it's Get Candid. Tell me about Get Candid.
So Get Candid is a series where we talk to people of political background or anything like that, or local talents, anything like that, and we can ask them questions and get some answers that, we've been wanting to know. And it actually really helped me prepare for my future career of podcasting.
All right. What do you get from OMG?
Well, I get my skills of podcasting and my skills of how to be a better person and how to just provide for my community.
How can people learn more about OMG, or more importantly, donate to what y'all are doing?
Go to outstandingmaturegirls.org, so you can find all the information there. You can also follow us on Outstanding Mature Girls on all of our social media platforms as well.
Now listen, y'all are going to be back actually in a couple weeks to talk about something you're doing in the month of July, right?
Yes, double your impact.
All right, Independence Day is next week. Let's talk a little bit about patriotism with a good friend of mine, retired Marine Colonel David Couvion will be on the set with me next. Good job, yo. Well, we are getting you ready for Independence Day week. It's on a Tuesday this week, so that spreads it out over.
Got an extra day, man.
Got an extra day for those of you who are crazy enough, like this fella, to go out and play golf on a hot day. But we did this last year. And actually, you and I have been having these conversations around Independence Day for years, even when I was just doing the audio podcast. And I always like to gauge what you think about it. So for those of you who don't know, when we talk about this, David's a retired Marine Colonel. And for a while after the fall of Baghdad, he was the governor of the Wasit province in Iraq. I actually just told that story. We were together yesterday with some people, and you got to see this nation kind of in shambles, trying to struggle to stand itself up with a new version of a government based loosely on what we try to do here, which was tough for them. And then you look at where we are right now. And patriotism is always a thing, and that's defined differently depending on who you ask, right?
Right.
Right? So what's your definition?
Patriotism to me is the opportunity to show back to my country what I can do to support the values and the ideas and the people of that country. Mm-hmm. That's how I look at it.
Do you think people now, and again, as a military veteran, but also someone who does things in the community, on a scale of 1 to 10, in your opinion, where is America on the?
I think America's about 7, maybe 7.5.
That's good, man.
I was just making a comment a few minutes ago that you walk around or you drive around and you'll see people bumper stickers on a car, or you'll see a lapel pin with a flag on it, or you'll see a flag stuck in the ground in somebody's yard, mm-hmm. or a pole on it. It might not be there all year, but around this time it shows up.
Right.
But if you pay attention during the whole year, you'll see that patriotism of people still love the idea of the United States of America, mm-hmm. and what our founding fathers brought to us.
So I want to throw this at you because this is something that comes up right now, especially in the era of social media. And that for me is the overrated nature of agreeing.
Agreeing?
Yeah, we have to, that people think we have to agree on everything.
In other words, you and I have to agree to be friends.
That's right.
We can't disagree on anything.
And I think that is unrealistic.
It is unrealistic.
But it's unhealthy also to think that you have to be agreed. I don't believe I'm going to be agreed with on every opinion I have. I don't really expect
it. But we talk about patriotism and people showing it, and if they don't agree in the social media, which you bring up, and even in big media, the agreement doesn't get the eyeballs.
Right. It's the
conflict and the disagreement. So it's blown way more out of proportion than the real patriotism or the people that interact with each other over and over and over on a daily basis. If you walk around, I'm gonna get passionate, you know it. When you walk around and you see people, different races, different creeds, different whatever, they dress differently, whatever. But they walking down holding a conversation, or they sitting down at a bar talking to each other, or they having a dinner or meal at a restaurant, and sometimes you look at them and go, why are those two people together? It doesn't fit. It does fit because it's the United States of America.
Well, and that's the thing, man. And you brought up the disagreement and everything now. It's been monetized. So
absolutely.
We call them trolls now, but there are people who will go into a comment section just to say crazy things, which is why I try to stay out of the comment sections of things. And that, to me, again, it creates conflict for the sake thereof. And then what we're teaching kids now is that you have to be agreed with, and you look at what's happening across the country when kids are disagreed with. they become violent. 3 weeks ago in the city of Baton Rouge, a couple of fellas are playing basketball. I talked about this on the show last week. And in the game, one dunks on the other. And the guy who got dunked on went to his car, got his gun, came back and shot the guy who dunked on him in the head.
Because he was disrespected, huh?
What the hell? First of all, it's too hot to be, and then to be doing that. So how do we dial it back? Because the politicians are sometimes the biggest culprits.
To dial
too.
it back is just conversation, just like everybody else has.
Yeah.
And understand that it's conversation with everything. It's not me attacking you or you attacking me or your ideas and my ideas not confident, but we can discuss it, we can talk about it, and we have to uphold the idea of what the United States means, what our Declaration of Independence and Constitution gives to us. Are we perfect? No. We'll never be perfect. But I've been all over the world, and you know that.
Yeah.
And people are dying to get here. You talked about Wasset Province when I was over there. You know the second most asked question I got while I was over there? Could you get me an American flag? They loved the idea of America. They loved the idea of the United States and what it could bring and be part of them. Their culture was completely different than ours, but the idea was the thing. And I thought we planted a seed there. It hasn't grown like I wanted it to, but it just went to show me that they kind of grasped it and they wanted it.
You know, me and this guy would sit in my courtyard on Fridays for hours on end, debating everything from literature to politics to sports. My great 49ers and his mediocre Saints.
Man.
All right. We're not going to do that here. Coming up, we're going to get you ready for bug season, the mosquitoes, the fleas, all that stuff. The best in the business will be in the building to talk to you next. Man. Clay Young here with John Conroy, founder and owner of Pest Stop. I bet you've heard that on the radio somewhere, right?
Just a couple channels.
We've been doing that really all over. Pest Stop, do-it-yourself pest control solution over on O'Neill Lane and other places around the state. As the nation has moved more to DIY movement, people want to do things themselves, just save money.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes it's not having people in your home. And pest control supplies have become a big part of that, especially down here in the South. But before we get into some of the critters we're going to show y'all on the screen, y'all are about to hit 30 years.
We just passed it in May.
30 years. Tell me about that, man.
I started that business on O'Neill Lane, May of 1993.
Wow.
And then expanded it to 2 more stores in 95, and then started doing somewhat like a franchise for the West Bank and Lafayette.
Yeah, you're in Lafayette, Covington, and New Orleans.
Right.
And Metairie.
And Metairie.
And Metairie
And
on
Baton Rouge.
Severn Avenue
Correct.
there. And then, of course, Pest Stop 1 here. So we got some, what's the first one? Okay, that's a bed bug.
It is a bed
All right,
bug.
I'm trying to see if I can recognize these without notes, all right? That's a mosquito.
A big one.
Yes, a big one.
And that is too.
That's another
Getting a blood
mosquito.
meal.
Okay.
Looks like a roach.
Really?
Or it's a flea.
What the hell is that?
They almost look prehistoric, don't they? It's a flea. Spiders.
Sorry, y'all, if you're having dinner. What? Look at that joker.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to mess with him.
Wow.
I'm telling you.
I got to ask Cameron where he found all these photographs. So he put this together. So let's talk about where we are right now. What's the bug problem going on now?
Well, you're seeing a lot of activity right now with bed bugs because a lot of people are traveling.
Yeah.
And so when they come home, they're bringing the critters home. They don't come from the outside. They're transported around
Right.
around the country. That's real active right now. Of course, mosquitoes aren't so much real active because it's just too hot and too dry.
Yeah.
But when the rain comes, they'll
Which
come out
inevitably
big
will
time.
happen.
Yeah, it's coming. And then, of course, fleas right now are really bad. So those seems to be our biggest problems that we're hearing right now through the door.
You know, one of the things that I wanted to accomplish with this segment, we did this last year around the same time again, is because kids are outside at summer camps, and not as much outside because of how oppressive the heat has been, but people are still outside in the evenings. And when people wonder, okay, when you say do it yourself or treat for mosquitoes, let's say I want to get rid of a mosquito problem.
Sure.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's talk me through what I do.
Well, the advantage that we offer compared to the big box stores is that it's the same exact products that the professionals are using, except you have the opportunity to apply it yourself. this
and save a bunch of money.
And save a bunch of money.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this isn't rocket science,
Right.
okay? I mean, you're talking about taking a bottle of Tall Star for your mosquito problem. Tall Star is using bifenthrin, one of the safest products that you can use. You do want to keep the children and pets off a treated area until it dries.
Until it dries,
But then it's fine. The nice thing about Tall Star is because of the bifenthrin, it puts up an invisible barrier that the mosquitoes don't even like flying across. It'll last for months if we don't get too much rain.
Well, and that's the thing right now. I treated a few weeks ago and saved this rain we had, I think Saturday maybe, where we got a really good shower. Like you said, that stuff will last. And then there's another one. We talked about this. We did a radio ad about this. These drain flies that people are bringing in either with fruit or with things, and they multiply so quickly.
And where people lose control is that they're not treating the drains.
Right.
They think that it's, they can kill the adults and that's going to end the problem. But if you don't target where they're breeding and put an IGR in there to stop that breeding, it's an endless battle. It'll never go away.
Look, and one of the things that John will tell you is that if you treat your patio area, your doors, the floor of the doors you walk in, anything that comes across that thing, they're gone.
Yeah, it really works. It really works. And we have multiple products for multiple problems, but they're all safe to use. We just give you exactly the precautions.
Yeah.
And that's what's key.
And the spider situation too.
Oh yes, Suspend for spiders. There's nothing better on the market than that. And it's even labeled for mattress application for treating for bed bugs, like your buddy up there.
Like you said, people are traveling, and you're in these condos or these vacation rooms where a lot of people are in and out, and you bring those things home. Because I've talked to someone last year who had a problem that the things were eating her up. But we appreciate you. 806 O'Neill Lane, that's where my guy is. Appreciate you, John.
All right, brother.
The DIY legend. Back to talk about comedy in just a moment. Looking forward to that. All right, so I just love it when guests bring swag. That's what I'm saying. Can we get this on 2? Kyle, there we go.
Should have said Clay, though. Should have got you one that just said Clay.
That's okay, man.
Clay.
This is a good start. You know where I am now. You're starting off just fine. We like swag now. My folks are looking at me sideways because you didn't bring one for everybody, but that's okay. This is leaving with me today, though.
No.
It's all right, but it's not your last time being here. Comedian Seabass, we met last year at an event that was happening downtown, a fashion event that Nina was doing, that Nina Ross was doing downtown. And then we ran into each other a few weeks ago at Sky Lounge, Brad Gordon's place. Brad was here a couple weeks ago to talk about that. And man, comedy, let's talk about why'd you get into comedy?
Hanging around the wrong people, because bad decisions, don't do it. No, man, actually, one of my good friends, he's my mentor to this day, Van Chu.
Yeah, I know
when
Van.
I moved here, little country boy, I'm from Tallulah, went to Grambling State University, shout out, whatever. And so I know I have some Southern folks that got something to say about that.
Yeah,
but when I moved down here, I didn't know anything. I didn't know hardly anybody. And I was hanging around this guy. And he was like, man, you ought to come hang out with me one night. Come to find it was a comedy show. He was a comedian. I was, oh my God. So he just started mentoring me. I started getting into it, and the bug bit me, and here I be.
So the thing about it is, man, that's a tough job.
Yes, it is.
Because you literally are there to make people laugh. And if you are unsuccessful at that, it's got to be brutal.
Yeah.
So tell me the best situation you were in where you just killed it. It was like, it's unbelievable how funny you are. You were in the zone.
Yeah.
And then one of those times when you thought, okay, I should be doing something else for a living.
Yeah. Comedy is one of the most up and down businesses you'll ever be a part of.
Right.
If one night you could be in front of literally 1,000 people and kill them, the next night you might be in front of 40, and you're just like, I don't like it. I don't get it. So there's several times, but I will say one real quick one was, I was in Greenville, Mississippi. And I opened for J.J. Walker, Good Times. It was crazy. And when I say open, it was literally like 8 other comics on the route. He didn't know who I was, but at the time I was just starting, I was new. And I got up there and the guy started heckling me. I didn't know how to handle it. I wasn't ready for it. And I just kind of ran off the stage. And it was unfortunate, but the good thing was that we were there for 2 nights at a casino in Greenville. So I came back the next night, and and the same guy was there. And
you were ready for him
and
that
I was
time.
ready for him. Yeah, I said, look at here, we ain't gonna do this no more. But it was great. But that was a time where you will have some rough times on the stage, but it's the repetition, it's the work, and then it's the energy that you feel from the crowd.
Man,
you know?
it takes some orbs to go at a comedian who's behind the mic on a stage.
Oh yeah, we're the loudest one in the room.
You better know what you're doing if you're going to pick that fight.
Yeah, I mean, that's why, like, you at the fashion show, you know what I mean? You might see comedy anywhere. We're in the middle of it was hot. It was so hot.
Yes.
It was so hot.
Yes.
We were outside.
I was the one in the suit. So
Oh
yes,
yeah,
I
you
know
was
it
in the
hot.
suit, and you didn't sweat. We gotta check this out about Clay. I know this is your show. I ain't trying to call you out, but you don't sweat. I don't understand.
I don't know what that is. That's true. It's kind of a gift I have.
I guess so. Yeah. I was out there melting, but we live in Louisiana, so you know. I mean, it is what it is.
So, and then tell me where you want this to go, man, because you know you. Outside of the comedy, you have such great positive energy, which is one of my big things with people. I'm big into people having the right energy because life is tough enough without being negative in your own self. But
I agree.
Where do you want this to go? What's your ultimate top of the mountain?
You know, honestly, I'm kind of living it. To be honest with you,
Awesome.
I'm able to do this full time. Right now, I create. So right now, I'm a Problem tour. You can go to my website, Seabass Comedian. You can see it. We're traveling all over. Myself and my bro Reno McCall. He's out of Jackson, Mississippi. Very, very funny guy. And so I'm doing that. I have my Seabass School of Comedy, my production studio. So a lot.
So Scott's saying about a minute. Tell me about the 4th of July thing you're doing.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to get this right because I had an issue with the radio with Brad at Sky Lounge. And I said, you can do whatever you want to do, and that was not the right thing to say.
No.
So this 4th of July, come out at the Sky Lounge. I'm doing the first ever Funny and Fireworks comedy party.
Okay.
So we're just gonna celebrate comedy. So we're gonna have a lot of comedians come out, people come out, have a good time, patio, hang out, restaurant food, wings, everything, and just come have a good time. And we're gonna drop an open mic after around 9, so if people wanna, anybody can come. It's an open mic, open to the public. If you just wanna come and do a couple minutes, Clay, whatever, come up there and drop it, and we will support you in your endeavors.
The funniest thing I do is play golf.
Yes, we gotta do that. I play
Everybody's
golf too.
laughing at me, not with me.
We gotta do it.
Man, I appreciate you. One more
Thank
time,
you,
give them your
man.
social media handle.
Yes, at Seabass Comedian, linktree.com/Seabass Comedian. There I am.
Happy Independence Day, y'all.
Yes.